Hi, Siad.
Here. Hi, Christina. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Very good, very good.
I
Looking
thought I
forward.
would see like a beautiful sunset behind you or like tropical.
I wish I could have shown you, but it's it's 10:30 here,
Oh,
so
that's right.
the sunset's already been unfortunately. But the sunsets are amazing here. It's yeah, what can I say? Tropical island for photographers or anyone that just loves to take pictures. It's
Oh.
absolutely stunning place to be.
How long have you been? Were you born there?
No, 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 no. I wasn't born here. I live now here, let me think, about 14 years between here and Mallorca and Barcelona and New York. So I've been kind of moving quite a lot, but
That's amazing.
most of the time I've been here on this island. Yeah, I grew up in Holland. Born in Kabul, grew up in Holland, and now live in Spain, kind of deal.
I mean, that must be so interesting. I'd love to learn more about your art. And
Of course.
yeah,
I mean,
so tell me, what are you, we'll start with what you're up to lately. What are some projects you're working on now?
well, at the moment, well, basically, it's life on a island in these Corona pandemic times. It's a very touristic place where we
Mm.
live, tropical island. Basically, there are about, if I'm not mistaken, between 2.5, 3 million tourists per year that coming here, and there are only 800,000 people living here. So when you go to the touristic areas, which is normally buzzing with people, and I'm talking about this place from January till December, it's always good weather. We have rain about 2 weeks a year, if you put
Wow.
it all together. So it's sunshine, it's good weather, and it's people all the time. But right now, because of the whole situation, we go, or at least me and my family, we spend our times in the touristic places because there's nobody there. I just posted a picture from one of the most busiest beaches around here. It's next to the sand dunes, and there was absolutely nobody there, no tourists, no visitors, just me and my family. And we had this whole beach, which is normally packed with thousands of people. They could just run around and play without any worries or anything. On the one hand, it's absolutely great to see the nature in its full
Mm.
glory. On the other hand, it is a little bit scary not to be able to see any people where it's always packed. So
Wow.
this is what I'm trying to capture at the moment to show what life is like on an island that's usually you can compare it maybe to, I don't know if you ever been to the Canary Islands.
No, I've been to Mallorca though before.
Turkey. Well, we're not far off from, or tourist-wise, it's more or less the same. We get the same amount of tourists as in Mallorca. So
Mm.
imagine then going to Mallorca to whatever one of the beaches that you have been to and then see nobody. Drive on the highway and you can be the only
Mm.
one with a couple of cars maybe in front of you. It is weird as it is in most of the places throughout the world, but it's good to capture it as well, something for our kids to show them in the future how 2020, 2021, the start was like here on the island and was around the world to show them something.
Yeah.
And we where and we try to capture as many moments as possible,
Mm.
as Canaria is a miniature continent. And if you go to the north or to the mountains, it can be
Mm.
very cold. It can snow up there. You can literally be on the beach laying down in the sunshine in your bathing suit and take
Mm.
the car. Half hour later, you're on top of the mountain playing in the snow. So
So tell me how how you can capture this. Uh what are you trying to capture? Like are you using photography? Are you creating, I know you're a cinematographer. Are you creating some sort of movie around it?
I started again actually a while back. All my equipment got lost, stolen, kind of thing. So I
Wow.
had to start everything, and the worst thing of that was I lost about 2 terabytes of material.
Oh my God.
ready to build up. So I had to start again. So what I'm doing is we're with a couple of people. We're shooting small videos as well, films, short films. We're mixing that. I do a lot of editing for people here as well. They come, they would like to take videos, and then they search for someone to do something. So I'm always ready to jump in if they need any help.
Mm-hmm.
The island is becoming bigger and bigger in, or the Canary Islands in general, for Hollywood productions.
Yeah.
Every year there are more productions here on the islands, which is really good. And we hope that with what we capture to show that it's not only touristic displays. You can be on this island with videos and with pictures. You can have the Amazon here on the island. You can have the desert as shown in, I don't know if you've seen the film Fury of the Titans. I don't know if it...
I don't think so.
Well, it's a movie that's like a part of it. It's in the desert, but that's actually the dunes here.
Mm.
You can the Witcher with Henry Cavill. They were shooting here in the mountains, actually about 10 minutes from my home, and it was weird to see that back on the series on Netflix.
Yeah.
They've managed it, and I could directly say, "Oh yeah, that's there, that's there, that's there." So
What do you
yeah.
think they're missing? And so, like, obviously, when people come outside, they're shooting their own perspective or they're using it for their own purposes. What it for you that lives there? What is something that you feel like everyone that you want to talk about, or that you feel like is being neglected?
I think people should go more into the island, and everybody tries to take a lot of pictures from what's typical touristic. And when I meet people, I always tell them, like, guys, if you want to have the perfect Instagram shot, don't be in this busy beach. Go to that area where you will have a whole beach to yourself. Take a little hike towards a different corner of the island. Go to that part of the island where you have the House of Columbus, for example. He before he went to the Americas, to the States, he
Mm.
came through the Canary Islands. And
Is it
this
true
house,
that he thought he died of failure?
sorry,
Is it true that he thought he died of failure?
I think so,
Have
something
you
like
heard
that.
that?
He's,
I was
he's
asking someone yesterday that.
which is very remarkable to me that they have kept it.
Yeah.
If you on the island, you can just go there, and the cathedral where he partially commissioned to build, which was built like many years afterwards. So yeah, you have a lot of things that you can do here on a very small island. Basically, if you go from the south of the island to the north, you're in less than 40 minutes by car.
Are there
So,
any
but
storylines or stories that you thought of beyond just photography?
beyond photography, as in filming, do you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we actually do have a couple of short films that we have shot on the island to show different perspective of nightlife. There are parts, I don't know if you've been in Mallorca to Magaluf.
I can't remember.
Can't remember, a long time ago.
It was a few years ago, but I don't think I did that much at night.
Okay. There's of course the nightlife, and we try to show a different perspective. We shot different short films in the dunes as well, trying to show a different perspective, our point of view on how life can be or could be here. We have shot in the forest, and then there's a protected area where we were allowed to shoot and do some photography, and as well do some short films there. And we tried
What
to
kind
turn
of what's the most interesting short film that you can think of that you've worked on?
that we worked on. We did a short film a couple of years ago. We wrote it in one day and we shot it in one night.
Wow.
It's called Estoy Muerto, question mark, am I dead? And it's like less than 5 minutes short. It shows how if you're not careful in a nightlife area where if you lose control, how quickly things can turn ugly, not to give away plot point.
Do you mostly shoot in English or do you do Spanish also?
Short films, we try not to have any dialogue in it.
Really?
Uh, the one that we did shot, it was voiceover, so there was no direct conversation, was voiceover. So we did that one in Spanish, but
Mm,
usually we do try to shoot without any dialogue or keep it at a minimum possible and try to have more expressions. Try people to express themselves by facial expressions. We did a short film as well in New York and Central Park.
mm.
And instead of using dialogues, we just used, nowadays everybody's on their phones texting. So we just use that as a conversation line and showing what's actually going on.
Mm.
So yeah,
It'd be
we
interesting.
do original, but that's a little bit hard to be original in a world where majority of people have a camera in their hand at all times and trying to make something out of the world.
Well, that's why it's so interesting now because you have all of the space that nobody is there. So if you actually could partner or think of these storylines, like if you do one storyline and shoot in one day, you could have like 100 different types of scenes now that you'll never be able to get again.
Yeah, yeah, no, that is, we have actually garnered quite a lot of images, and we do try to make, yeah, the best out of the situation. I mean, that is, on one hand, we consider ourselves lucky, if there's such a thing, to be able to go all these places and without being bothered. And
Mm.
for me, the most interesting part was to be in the places where you can never be alone,
Yeah.
and that's touristic areas. And it can be extremely beautiful, especially around the dunes and the beautiful beaches, sandy beaches, very big. And normally you cannot take a picture. And if you take a picture and you want just one model, for example, if you're doing a model shoot there,
Mm.
and then you spend hours with Photoshop taking the people
Yeah.
away, having the model. And for me personally, I really don't like doing a lot of Photoshop. I like to
Yeah.
keep things natural as possible. And for me, right now, to go around and take those pictures is perfect situation because I don't have to worry about people running around or kids coming into the images
Mm.
or coming at home and being hours there making sure that nobody's in the background. So yeah, it's been quite eye-opening situation right now.
That's like it's so like I'm trying to think of like what you could do to take advantage of that. Like I mean, would is even like the tourism ministry or is there anyone that would like sponsor like some sort of campaign where you can actually like get all this footage and store it for something that you can use later? Or
We haven't really thought because there's one thing that there are a lot of people or a lot of photographers, travel photographers come through
mm,
these acts as well, and they take a lot of pictures as well. For us, we have it, and we do try to show them that we have the material. So if they want to use it, we are willing to cooperate.
mm,
But at the moment, it's a little bit harder because everybody
yeah,
is focused trying to restart life again here on the island. Till today, we were actually one of the safest places entire Europe here because the infectious rate was extremely low, and it just went up because of the Christmas. People have been gathering again, and all flights have been canceled to the island and from the
mm.
island. So at the moment, there's nobody here,
Do
which
you have
gives us.
any issues with food or anything? Like, can you get all the
Yeah, no, that's
groceries?
fine. That's the cargoes, the food, everything comes normal here.
Yeah,
That it's a tropical island. You can grow most of the food if you like. If you
yeah.
like, here in your back garden, and there's a lot of the fruit and the vegetables that come from the island itself, which which actually tastes amazing in comparison with a lot of places that use chemical
Yeah.
materials to make it faster. So with that, yeah, it's good. And actually, I'm happy that I run across your site. I don't remember how I found it. I think it was through Facebook,
Oh,
and was happy there's a site like yours that actually promotes and helps photographers from around the world and connects them. And I think that will, yeah, for me personally, there was a while that I was developing and making web pages for different clients of mine, doing their pictures and doing that. And then they would always ask for some stock photography, and
mm,
finding natural things was quite hard.
yeah.
The daily life, what's going on around the world, it was always took me hours to find something. And going through Scopio's pages, and you can see like, oh, actually, it's now available a lot more, and I'm happy that I can be part of that and contribute to it.
Thank you. I mean, we see ourselves as Scopio stands for scope it out. It's like a fishing net for the world's content. For me, I felt like it was so important to have a place to document um, images. I mean, we started off with protest photos 7 years ago, and we were
All right.
just collecting images from Twitter, from the Arab Spring and from Venezuela and Black Lives Matter. Then we started to distribute that content. And then we said, well, like, what happens if Instagram shuts down? Then all of this memories go away, especially
Yeah,
for the current event type of situations. So that's why we have Scopio where anyone can submit. And we wanted to level the playing field. Like, you don't need to be a professional for that. So in this way, if we're successful, then we'll have content in each locality around the world so they can use that content from that area. So it is more crowdsourced. Like maybe one day you need content, you go there, but maybe you have content, you can also submit to it. So we really focused on areas we're trying to build like in all these different areas so they don't have to use the same resource where they're just getting Western staged content. So it's a very different concept than, I mean, in traditional stock photography, you hire models, you usually do it in a studio. They're trying to create as much content as possible at once,
yeah,
but we have like 13,000 photos on our iPhones now. So that's
exactly.
but for me, I hope that the language and everything can be easier for everyone because now it's predominantly in English. But we know that, it'd be easier for everyone if it's in their language to be able to submit. So,
English is the international language, so it's easier to connect with people, and it's a good place to have that, and that you can do something more with the pictures as well, and that it's
yeah.
available. Been through it and saw it as well with Black Lives Matter. I didn't get the opportunity to be there and take the pictures here in Gran Canaria, which I was a little bit surprised that there was actually people here on the streets as well for Black Lives Matter.
Wow. It
So
reached all the way over there.
that has become because of the pictures, because of the videos and social media that people have
Mm,
shown around. And I was a little bit surprised, happy,
yeah.
that people cared here. Uh, and the people went on the streets in the capital city, Las Palmas. There were quite a lot of people, and I was just like, I totally forgot about taking camera and going there because I was just like, wow, this is
Mm,
something big. It's not just the United States that's happening. This is
yeah.
a world event, and it's something that everyone should do something about it if you can. Raise your voice, and I believe pictures in this case, yeah, as the saying goes, one picture can tell 1,000 words.
Hmm.
You see a gathering of people of all ethnicities, all religions and backgrounds come together to stand up for one group of people. I think that's something beautiful, and to be able to capture that, that's amazing. That's really a fantastic thing.
Yeah, I mean, we have our most downloaded photos are of the Black Lives Matter images, and we're seeing they're making their ways to music videos, to museums, to books, to documentaries. Like it's unbelievable that when history happens, it happens like now because of like the social media and the internet, it's already getting distributed in this remarkable way. And I think that's the exciting part about the fact that you can distribute something so quickly. Like if you have an image and you want to share it, it could end up in like an app, in a movie, in a music video, and like all these different uses. So it's so
Yeah.
much more than just one medium. So that's what's, I think really interesting about today. And I've never seen such a fast turnaround of like an event like that.
Yes, yes, no, that's absolutely true. The next thing for us here as well that we're trying to capture an event that's actually been happening during the pandemic is the arrival of immigrants from Africa, because we are very close to Africa. We're actually pretty
Yeah.
far away from Spain itself. And there's a lot of misinformation going around about these people, and everybody tries to take a picture and then put some bad words. And that's something that we try to capture as well and show, no, these people are running away from poverty, from famine, and from war-torn countries.
What
And yeah,
countries are they coming from mostly?
it's a big mixture. There's a big group coming from Morocco and the Saharan desert.
Mm.
There's a big group coming from Mauritania, Senegal as well, I believe, from Senegal and Kenya, from all these different parts. And even there have been reports of people escaping from Yemen, coming through, crossing Africa to try to find a boat to come to the Canary Islands and then find their way to Europe, as we are only let me not be mistaken, from the Moroccan coast, we are about 65 miles, so 105 kilometers
Wow.
away. So yeah, that's something that we do try to capture and bring to attention to people. And what I do realize, looking at social media, how easy it is to spread hatred and misinformation.
Yeah.
And yeah,
But the
and
opposite is true too. It's so
yeah,
easy to spread good vibes
exactly.
and
And
good information.
that I'm all for to try to show people, no, that's, don't think them bad. You cannot hate them for escaping something.
Mm.
If you want to hate on someone or you want to judge on someone, judge on the guys on top that's creating this situation for them. If we don't create that situation, or the governments don't create that kind of situation, they wouldn't be coming here and seeking
Yeah.
refuge for whatever reason it is that they are doing that. And of course, bad apples, they're everywhere, but you can't judge an entire
Mm.
race or ethnicity based on the action of just a couple of people.
Have you been
Uh,
able, do you think that there's something you can do, like from a storytelling perspective about that?
yes, we are trying. It's been a couple of close friends. The first thing that we try is whenever we see misinformation, we try to report that as quick as possible. Like, guys, that's not the truth. We even had instances recently that there were some pictures going around, which was they were using it in a magazine and actually in a news report here, saying that this is what's happening, which was not here on the island, which was somewhere else. And we gathered around and we did everything what we could to tell, like, no, hey guys, this is a lie. What you're spreading about here, about the people here, it's not the
Wow.
truth. So yeah, and then we try to help. In first case, instead of the pictures, try to help these people as much as possible, whether it's just a pair of clothing or some food or whatever we can. I know we are in crisis mode, the world is in a crisis, but you always have to imagine how would you do, or what would you do if you were in that situation.
Yeah.
And for me, I've been in that situation, that I had to escape my country where I was born and come to
That's
different.
Afghanistan, you said?
Yes, that was, and yeah, and I always had in my mind that whenever I can, whatever I can, I should do.
Mm.
You always have to pay it forward in whatever way you can, even if it's just giving someone a piece of bread. If you can do it, do it. It might be nothing for us, but it might be just life-saving for a person
Mm.
that's need. And those are moments that actually we don't capture in pictures,
Mm.
as weird as it sounds. I think it can create a bad image, like, oh, look at me, I'm helping someone.
Yeah.
I think if you help someone, just be there for the person, be in the moment. And
Mm.
if it gets caught by accident, okay, but don't capture that moment. If you want to capture a moment, try to capture the story of the person that's fleeing the war. The recent story was of one of the guys that was nearly 2 weeks on the sea without food, without drinks, trying to make it here. A 14-year-old boy who didn't even know if he would make it here.
Wow.
Then you have to place yourself in his shoes and think, what would I have done? Would I have survived it? I mean, it's very easy to judge. You know, people, put them back in the boat and send them back. And I'm like, well, you talk big, but would you survive that trip? You know, they're very quiet very quickly, like, no. But I do try always to, if by pictures, for example, people always had a very, this idea of Afghanistan always being war-torn and bad place and everything. And when I show them the pictures from them, from my family, from my friends, from when we were playing on the
Mm.
streets, everybody's looking at me, oh, this is not Afghanistan. I'm like, yeah, this is Afghanistan, but you don't see that on the TVs. I mean, like,
Yeah.
and that's actually what created my passion for photography, is
Yeah.
to show people the other side. And I know, like, even, yeah, my closest friends here, when we just met and we were talking, and when I was showing them, they were looking at me like, really? They were like, and they looking at the pictures of my mom, for example, like, your mom was blonde and she had green eyes. I'm like, yeah. Afghan people don't have just, they don't always all look
Mm.
like me.
So
So,
for someone like you that, and there's so many people that are like kind of displaced, how do you feel like, how do you reckon with your place on earth? Like where do you feel like you belong? Like how do you deal with that identity?
uh, that's the, how do you say that? The $1 million question.
Yeah.
Um, I actually, I because I've lived in so many different places,
Mm.
uh, I don't really feel that I'm one thing.
Yeah.
I think I think I see myself first. I'm a citizen of this world, and I always tell people, don't judge me by my looks or by what I believe or what I do not believe in. And that's the same thing that I don't do to you. And for a long time, I was searching for where do I belong, which country is mine. Um, for example, I was born in Afghanistan, but I grew up in Holland. I have a Dutch nationality, but I've lived now for over 14 years in Spain, which is a country that I absolutely have come to adore and love. Their habits, their way of life, and their siestas, everything.
Mm.
And yeah, I think I feel most home with my family, with my wife and my kids.
Mm.
I don't think that there will be a place that I would say, hey, I want to go and live in this place because I can call that country my home. And I think you can't really, or in my case, personal opinion, on my own personal view, I think if you are with the right people in your life
Mm.
and you feel happy, that's home.
That's
And
beautiful.
wherever it may be. And I've been with my wife in different places. And about 10 years ago, when I was studying in New York, I loved it there. It was absolutely amazing. but because I didn't have my partner with me, I didn't feel really comfortable or wanting to stay and continuing in the direction that I wanted to go. So I chose like, no, I prefer to be with the people, and I think to be with the people that you love the most and admire the most, that feels closest to home. As yeah, yeah, that's the best way I can explain it actually.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for coming on, and I'm sure tons of people will
Have
love this.
a good
Okay, thank
day.
you. You too. Bye.